Hi everyone, it's Avril here, and today I'm going to show you how to do a Yuk Anchor. I've had a few of you asking me how to do this as a little reminder, so I thought I would do a very quick video taking you through the basic steps of a Yuk Anchor. So first of all, what you need to do with your client is get them to identify the particular food that they would like the Yuk Anchor for. So let's just say it was a bar of chocolate. You know, it could be a food and it could also be a drink. It doesn't matter. The Yuk Anchor will work equally for both things. I've done Yuk Anchors on lots of different things. So first of all, get them to identify the particular food. So we'll imagine a bar of chocolate just now. And all you need to do is get them to imagine their favourite bar of chocolate. Say it's, I like it when clients say things like fruit and nut, because it gives me a lot more to work with. And those of you who've actually seen me do this live, you'll know what I'm talking about. So let's just say it's a bar of fruit and nut chocolate. So you get them to imagine that bar of chocolate. And as they imagine it, what you want to do is really elicit all the submodalities that they experience as they imagine that chocolate. So you want them to get a really good picture of what it looks like, the texture of the chocolate, the wrapping paper, what it feels like when they open that wrapping paper up, what it sounds like when they tear the paper off. And then whilst you're doing that, you want to get them thinking about how it smells, you know, when they actually first open that bar of chocolate, what it smells like and what it tastes like when they bite into it. I mean, I'll do things like, you know, imagine the chocolate melting in your mouth and that creamy taste, and really elicit all their deep feelings and experiences around having a bar of chocolate. And then once you've done that, and you've really got them to get a sense as if they're having that bar of chocolate right now, then you scale how they feel about that bar of chocolate using the subscale. So I would ask them, on a scale of 0 to 10, how much would you like that bar of chocolate right now, or that particular food item right now? And I would say to them, 0 being you just do not feel like it at all, and 10 being that you could really, if it was there right now, you could really eat that. You know, sometimes it's a good idea to actually have things like crisps and juice and chocolate in your therapy room for those clients who are coming in that you're going to maybe be helping with issues around food and weight and things like that. But anyway, if you haven't got one, it's absolutely fine. This will work equally. So the chances are when you do the scaling, they'll probably say they sit anything between a 7 and a 10. Especially if this is an item of food or if it's a drink that they have all the time, and they may even be addicted to it. So the chances are it'll be sitting around 7 to 10, and which is quite high when we're doing the scaling, and that's good. That's what you want. You want to have them in quite a connected state to that particular item of food. So once you've done that, I would then do a state change with my client. So I would get them to think about something completely different, something random. Normally when I'm doing Yuk Anchors around food, I'll maybe ask some questions like, so what are you doing next? Or what are you doing this evening? Or have you got something planned for the weekend? Just something completely random, because what you want to do is shift them out of that state of experiencing eating that particular item of food and all the emotions going with it into a neutral state. Okay, so once you've done that and you've had a little chat about whatever it is that you've used for the state change, then what I do is I start to ask them questions about maybe food items or anything that they dislike, anything that they would never ever consider eating. So often for a lot of people it can be things like fish, because the smell of it puts them off, or shellfish is sometimes a thing that someone will say. There can be lots of different things, but it's really important that you encourage them to share with you things that they don't like. And I would also encourage them to tell me things that they don't like the smell of. That's really important, because remember, we're using all the different senses here. We're using the full VACOG range that's available to us to enable us to move the client away from eating chocolate to not eating chocolate, or having the desire to eat chocolate or that particular food item. So you might want to ask them, is there any particular smells that you don't like, or textures that you don't like? You're using every single one of the VACOG here. So, they might say, oh, I can't bear the smell of sick. There's some standard ones in there that just about everybody will say, and that's the smell of sick, the smell of poo, the smell of really strong body odour. So there are some real standard ones that you can use. So once you've elicited things that they don't like, then we're going to build on getting them to associate these things with the bar of chocolate and anchoring that state in. The simplest way I find to do it is just to get them to imagine a bucket, and I fill that bucket with everything that they don't like. And I even warm the bucket up somehow. Sometimes I'll say, imagine there's, it's a really hot day and the sun's beating down on this bucket, and all the stuff in the bin is beginning to get warm and the smell's getting stronger. So, and I'll add everything in there. I really will put lots of yucky stuff in there, like sick or dog poo, or lots of really gross stuff like that, and have a bit of fun with it. One of the things I do like about Yuk Anchors is it can be fun, but also be mindful of your client's state. If they're starting to change colour, then you may want to start toning things down a bit. So put lots of yucky things in there, and basically what you're doing is getting them to hallucinate and imagine all that. And again, you want to really focus on the full VACOG here, what they see, what they hear, what they feel, what they taste, what they smell. Really get them to imagine the smell of all that yucky things. I will often add in little stories just to kind of take them away on a little journey and really get focused on this yuck thing. So once you've done that, you'll have your bucket of yuck, and you'll also have the chocolate. So with the bucket of yuck, I would again scale this. You don't have to, but it can be more powerful if you can. If you just ask them on a scale of 0 to 10, how much, if you were to dip a spoon in that, or if you were to give them a piece of that thing, how much would they like to eat that now? And pretty much sure the chances will be that it'll be down at 0. So once you've done that and you've got it all set up, the next thing for you to do is to simply take the item of food or the bar of chocolate, or even if it's a glass of juice or whatever it is, and you want to take that and associate it with the yuck stuff. So I would take the bar of chocolate and dip it into all the goo that's in the bucket that I've created, or if it was juice, say it was a can of Coke or a glass of Iron Brew or whatever it is, I take a spoon of the stuff and I would drop it into the glass or into the can or the bottle and give it a good stir. And then what you do is you ask them if they would like to have a bite of that thing or a drink. And as you're doing that, really, again, have some fun here. Really play on this. I'll say things like, go on, have a bite in, and if it's fruit and nut, I've maybe put some flies in the bin, so I'll say things like, oh, you're maybe not going to know whether you're going to be biting into a raisin or a fly or whatever, but you can really have some fun with this and play on it. And as you're doing this, just gently tap on their knee and reinforce every yuck thing that you say, but obviously make sure you let your clients know beforehand that you're going to be tapping on their knee and anchoring in the stay each time you dip the chocolate into the yuck and you get them to smell the sick on that bar of chocolate. You're anchoring in that specific stay by tapping on the knee. So you're setting up an anchor there for them to reinforce that experience. So once you've done that, and as I say, really, really play on it, really, just work it and have some fun. For those of you who've worked with me, this will hopefully remind you of some of the anchors that I've demonstrated and shown you how to do in the past. So just let your imagination run riot and get creative. So once you've done that and you've got that set up, do a state change again. And again, just asking them a random question. What are you doing next? Where are you going? What was the last thing you saw at the cinema? Then bring them back and then pick up the imaginary or real bar of chocolate or drink and simply ask them on a scale of 0 to 10, how much do they feel like eating or drinking that particular thing now? And if you've really kind of worked hard on using all of the VACOG and eliciting the things that they intensely dislike, the chances are that they will be down at a 0. They will not want that item, that drink or that piece of food at all. So the next step to remember with the Yuk Anchor, and this is really, really important, and I can't stress this enough, a Yuk Anchor is only a sticking plaster. It does not solve the person's problem. So if I was doing a Yuk Anchor, I would only be using it to really help give the client a little bit confidence that they can leave that particular thing behind and choose something different. So make sure that any follow-up work that you're doing either in that session or at the next session that you have with your client includes working on getting to the root of the problem and finding out really what's causing them to have that, addiction to sugar or whatever it is. There will be something at the bottom, because otherwise all you're doing is just putting a sticking plaster on the problem that eventually they can and will take that plaster off and the old problem will still be there. So that's really important. Well, I hope this has helped, and I look forward to hearing how you all get on with your Yuk Anchors. So have a great day, and I'll speak to you all very soon.